Welcome to the third and final class on how to start a victory garden and help you learn to grow more of your own food. I'm Jim Converse. We're here at the Sustainability Resource Center at 107 Park, and we have back with us again Parker Maynard, the master gardener, and he's going to show us a variety of nice things you need to know about your garden. We've already got some of it growing now, so we're going to do a little thing on harvesting lettuce.
Thanks, Jim. We'll make a short little video lesson here on harvesting your greens. This is the time of year where you have some of your early crops coming in: radishes, greens, spinach. I see some Swiss chard. Maybe you've got some early beets coming up, kale, that kind of thing. So this little patch was planted about 4 weeks ago, and it's a mix of a mesclun mix, and I see like a romaine type lettuce. So I just want to show you quickly the process for harvesting so that you can get the most out of your lettuce patch. You can cut and come again when it comes to lettuce like this. This is leaf lettuce. Sometimes you grow head lettuce, and there's some great varieties out there where you just grow the head and harvest the whole thing, or you can pull it up, wash the roots, and keep it alive in the fridge. This is leaf lettuce, and I think you actually get a little bit more bang for your buck when it comes to the leaf lettuce, because you can cut it, you'll get a second cutting, and maybe a third sometimes, depending on how lightly you harvest it. This is a lot of lettuce right here. I think I started my gardening career growing a lot of lettuce for farmers markets. So with no further ado, I'd like to come in here and show you. We got some grass clippings on here, which is fine because we're gonna put it in the cold water in the bin over there, and it's called hydro-cooling it. So just I describe it as like holding it like a ponytail. And what you want to do is you want to identify these young leaves right here, and you don't want to chop those off. We want to leave the growing meristem, or the actively growing part of those new leaves, untouched, and we're just going to harvest these mature leaves. So I'm grabbing the whole, I might even be grabbing two, and I think I got one whole lettuce plant, and I'm going to just chop it straight across, and you're going to get this kind of raggedy looking thing here. But what you do have is younger leaves that are unscathed, and they're gonna fill in. And so I have this right here. This is all edible. So if we come over here, just lay it down in the cold water, and sometimes I push it in just to give it a little bath. And that process of cool water, just hose water, is called hydro-cooling, and it will cause it to crisp up. So you end up getting pretty good at this if you do it for a few thousand hours. Actually, it's an easy process. Just, grab it in here and err on the side of not cutting too low, because you want to really maximize. You want the plant to have its vigor, and so you pretty much get that. You'll see as you go through this mesclun, certain varieties will shoot up and try to set a flower bud and seed. This is called bolting. So this is arugula right here. Arugula tends to bolt, first heat. But I tried this stuff, and the flavor is excellent. It's not too spicy, not too hot. So I would say when it comes to these bolting varieties, you can do one or two things. You can pick a spot down low on the stem and take that bolting head off, and maybe get a prolonged harvest off the sides, the side shoots, little leaves. And you can come in, you can take a few of these and add them to your lettuce mix here. Or if you're afraid that the heat is going to come on too intensely, you can just pull the whole plant. Go in and just pull the whole plant. Try not to get your other leaves dirty, and you can go over to your bin and you can just chop the tops off, compost the rest. Compost the stem, and that way it's not pulling nutrients out of the ground to go to seed, because it will start to pull nutrients and create some competition for your leafy lettuce that's still in the ground. So once you hydro-cool, it doesn't need to be in here for very long. Sometimes I just let it sit for 5 to 10. Actually, if it sits too long, it'll start to get the water will start to permeate the cells, and it'll start to get soggy. So 5 to 10 minutes, and ideally you have a salad spinner, but a lot of us don't have that at home, so that's part of what we're doing with the video series, is what you got at home. So what I recommend is just doing one of these like this, pick it up with your fingers, you just kind of let the excessive moisture drip off, and then put it in a colander lined with towel or a reusable paper towel, some sort of cloth napkin, and let that dry. I don't have any life hacks for how to dry lettuce without a spinner. It's a great thing to have in your home, but I do know that if you just get the excess of moisture off and then maybe let this sit for a while, maybe put it in the fridge, dry air in the fridge, and you'll be good to go. These are beautiful greens, real tasty, real tender. So that's it. Don't be nervous about cutting it. It will come back again. That's the beauty. So far we've talked about propagating by seed and excuse me, transplanting, and we transplanted a row over there, the broccoli and the brassicas, and we transplanted some tomatoes. And today I want to, this time of year with the rainfall and the temperatures rising up, the soil temperature is nice and warm, we got a lot of weeds coming in. So I like to get ahead of them. I like to do the weeding now. I like to do it with tools that keep my back straight so that I'm not bent over, and so I can do it into my 90s, God willing. So I wanted to demonstrate the tools that I use. I use what are called precision hoes, and if you can see this really small trapezoidal thing, and it's like, is that even really a tool? How could that be effective? And I love this tool because it's lightweight, it's got a really long handle. These are from Johnny's Seeds. This curve right here is where it's at. This curve in this tool right here is where it's at because it ensures that I'm gonna be able to stay right above what I'm working in, right here, okay? I'm gonna be able to keep my back straight and work. So these weeds are just starting to, some along the edges are a little bit boisterous, they're pretty strong. And then there's some that they're just little pinheads, and that's perfect for this right here because I can just get right underneath the surface, right where the root turns into the stalk, and I can just kill that. I can just unearth that or chop it right below the soil surface with minimal effort. So however if you're right-handed, I find that moving this way is great. If you're left-handed, it's not. Or right-handed, you can go either way, really. But it's more like using a sketch pencil than like fighting something. So this is a great tool. Precision hose. There's various different heads. There's one that's just a disc, a round disc. There's one that's bigger that has a replaceable metal like blade. It's good to keep them sharp. It totally helps. Less effort if you keep them sharp. This one's been beat up and it was left by the garden last time I used it, which is a reality. It shouldn't happen, but last time I used it, it ended up by the garden. I think I was teaching my son and I left it out there. So great tool. The more you use them, the better they are, I think. The better you get at them. So we got this right here is more for like heavier weeds. This is called a stirrup hoe. Again, you can keep this edge real sharp and that helps. But this stirrup hoe or a shuffle hoe, and this is an old design. And what you do here is it's a pull and a push. And when it's sharp, it works a lot better. But you can see, like with this goldenrod right here, I'm just gonna go under, and I didn't even have to, and then I'll maybe push, and that just under these ones right here. So it's a pull and a push, pull, push. And my motion isn't coming from my back, it's really coming from my hips, just kind of staying level with the ground. And sometimes you just get into this motion here. There's a big dandelion right there, I just got it. I'm not gonna try to pull that, and I'm not gonna worry about the taproot either. The taproot is gonna become sugars. As it dies off and sloughs off cells, it'll become sugars for microbes. And by managing this over and over again, that root becomes food for the soil. And trust me, the dandelion is not gonna survive me managing this well. And at some point you might decide you've weeded, the crop is coming up and you want to mulch it. You want to mulch it with some grass clippings or some wood chips, or you want to top dress with some compost. The point is that you're managing it regularly so that you're not ever coming out here and saying, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So we'll just do a quick run down this. I see burdock in there. I'm going to go down the edge with my stirrup hoe, clean up this edge. No Roundup, no glyphosate, no weed whacker, no fuel, no loud
Turn this down for planting support.
Stirrup hoe, shuffle hoe, I'm just kind of going, back and forth. And I'm also throwing some material at the base of the plant where I want it. Not real weedy. For the length of the garden. There's all kinds of good stuff in here. There's plantain, there's compounds in these leaves, and I'm incorporating them. Get both sides. For this application, the stirrup hoe is perfect. Once you get used to you letting the tool do the work, find you're kind of cultivating, you're mixing in air. Air's got a ton of nitrogen in it. You're helping the microbes fix nitrogen, so it's fertilizing it as well. Fertilizer is in the air. It's the nitrogen in the air. The microbes will make it useful to the plants. These guys, you don't have to get down and put your hands in that. Nobody wants to do that. And I like that it's got your eyeballs on the surface of the soil and the plants. The plants appreciate being taken care of and being seen. And I find when you get into weeding mode, you're like this. You're like focusing on the weeds, and it's like you're not really getting the bigger picture. Sometimes people get zoned out, on weeding, and it's like war. And this is, to me, a little bit more like feeding soil. And like I said, with a sharper tool, this is less work. So I'm not doing the best job of demonstrating, but there will be times when you come out and your stirrup hoe isn't sharp and you need to get it done. But best to keep a file, and I think we should do a video on, maintenance. I do treat these handles with linseed oil. In the wintertime, some real ornery ones down here, but I'll keep my back straight and I won't give in to bending over and fighting them. This tool can be a little bit destructive. These bigger areas I can, hit like that, but once you do the bigger work with the stirrup hoe, you can come in with the smaller one and maybe in around the base of plants. See, like that right there. I want to just kind of fill in a little bit. Got some weeds that were growing at the base of my corn that I didn't want to endanger, hurting the plant. So that's the process. So we've got a thriving row of carrots here, and this is a good example of when gardeners get excited. we tend to lay down seed a little bit thick, and it's a matter of experience where you start to thin it out a little bit, or sometimes you don't know how good the seed is going to germinate, and you put down a little bit extra. But it's a really nice row. The thick sort of stand here is taking care of itself right now. It's providing some microclimate for moisture, and it's supporting supporting the leaves of each one. So it's not a terrible thing, but there's some work to do if we want to have the carrots come to maturity and grow healthy. So what we want to do is we want to thin the carrots, and it can be a tedious task. So what I recommend is just coming in here, and what you do is you kind of make a assessment of which ones are the strongest, and you leave those in the ground, and the other ones that are just sort of behind or struggling because of competition, they're competing with one another, you just take those out. And if you take them out carefully, you can put them in a container and transplant them other places in the garden where you have some openings. They say carrots love tomatoes. That's like a name of a book. Carrots love tomatoes. It's about companion planting. So what I like to do is what you thin out, you can sort of create companions. Like these onions right here, onions are great for protecting brassicas like cabbage, broccoli, kale from the cabbage moth. So those, I would thin these, pull them out, put them in between the rows of cabbage to protect them, and then as they mature you can pop them out, and that'll be on short intervals, a couple of weeks, you'll be pulling out green onions. So anyway, here we are with carrots, and so I've identified some really nice strong ones, and if you come in here and you can grab these by the pinch, you know. So I'll essentially, you think about the size of a full-grown carrot, and see, I just took a plug of them out, and I want to show that this is obviously a baby carrot, a real baby carrot, not just one that's been cut into a small shape. So that's, you know, look at all these are really healthy starts, but they were bunched up and they would have never been able to mature like that. So yeah, we'll just make a little pocket in here and keep them in the dark. UV will kill the microbes on the roots. It's not really good, so as soon as you get them out, just plug them in, get them in the dark, damp soil. This may take a few sort of thinnings because there's hundreds, like every inch. So just you learn, you learn whenever you sow them a little thick. Next time we'll do that, But what is cool is that you started them at the right time of year. You were on time, and you created all these great starts to transplanting. When I put these back in the ground, it's going to look something. So what I'm doing today is I'm just going to come I use this, something like this. I'm going to pull out a plug. Pull out a plug. I put my finger in underneath the roots, goes right down into the soft garden soil real well, and just lift up like this. And I'm gentle. I'm grabbing right at the base. I don't want to grab up here. And I just want to get my finger down in there and pull up. I got really nice carrot starts. Put them in there. Carrots aren't particularly fond of being transplanted, but they will. They might sort of die off at the top and then bounce back. It's called transplant shock. It's like a couple weeks of they're not going to do anything. They're dead. And then there's life. It sets them back about 2 weeks. Okay? But it's worth it. It's worth it because carrots take forever to germinate. They take like 21 days, or 14 to 21 days, and you assume nothing good, nothing's going to happen, and they do. So it's nice to have starts that are this far ahead. Jim, would you say like 4 weeks for these guys too?
Yeah, those all went in at the same time, those rows.
Mm-hmm. So you got month-old carrots, and you really want to try to utilize these. And instead of identifying the strongest, like I said, I'm just doing it intervals. I'm going to thin, and then what I'll do is come back, or what I would do is come back a week later and see which ones have really established themselves, and do another sort of culling. Until, if you imagine the crown of a nice sized carrot like that, that's the shoulders of the crown. So just imagine the carrot and the shoulders of it. You want those to be, maybe have about two fingers or a finger between crowns. So between plants is going to be something like maybe 3 fingers, 4 fingers. So if I got one plant right here, I'll put down 3 fingers, and a good spacing will be another plant. Boop, boop, boop. So for right here, there's a plant, there's space for one. So I'll show you real quick. I'll grab a nice healthy carrot start. I'll poke my finger down in there, set the roots down in there, and then just firm it in. Okay? We'll watch that guy. We'll come back next week and see how it looks. But this is a tedious process. This is something you do with respect to the fact of how long it took for these to germinate and really utilize all that you can. I mean, that's a great gift too for somebody who didn't get their carrots started on time. Here you go. Give them a jump start, So that's the process. Months ago, I was showing how you can get a garden plot started. It's sort of the easy way, the woo way. So put down a tarp. That is an old advertising tarp we got for free, but it's heavy duty and it's black, which is nice because it actually solarizes the soil. We put some of our compost down, just scattered it. So I'm interested to see, they've been mowing the edge, and we've got some potatoes that are really doing great over here. So just peel this back and just take a look at what's going on with the sod. So most of us don't have a plow at home, a tractor, horses. So to just have a rototiller really isn't enough to work around. You can, but a lot of times it leaves the sod behind, and the sod is pretty vigorous, so it'll keep coming back on you. So the idea here was to kill the sod by way of solarizing it and also get it fertilized. So we got our compost on here, and I'm just going to take a look. This grass, you can see, deprived of light. It's starting to get real flimsy, and it's starting to kill. You could tell, relative to what's over here, that it's killing the roots, and the microbes that are in the compost and the worms are starting to eat it. It's like candy. It's easy pickings. So maybe 2 more weeks under the tarp with the heat that we got now, and we might find that this is bare ground. The sod's been killed, and it's time to drop the tines of the rototiller in there. If you were just going to go at it without a machine at all, you'd be able to flip it relatively easy with spade without having to fight the roots. So this is what I recommend for homeowners. You'd be fighting sod, unless you have a lot of helpers and you have a lot of management. You end up fighting sod if you try to just till it. So this kills it, and yeah, it's coming along pretty good. I'd say this is all, this is really going to be eaten up quick. And the worms are actually coming up, eating the organic material, and they drag it down. They'll grab bits of grass, drag it down. And that's really ultimate kind of tillage. So at some point we'll do a quick video on rototilling it and building it up into raised beds. We'll try a different raised bed method, or what's going on here is looking